And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. Welcome to Tuesday. Is everybody ready for this? The last 24 hours went by some kind of quick, and we're off into a new day. I hope everything is well in your world as we begin this. 55 right now as you're waking up. We'll get to a high of 80 today. That's not bad, is it? 80-degree weather is kind of that perfect thing, somewhere between 75 to 80. So we're looking forward to that. As we glance over, let's go ahead and look at radar this morning as we start this day to see what we have. Meridian Honda radar, we pull this up. Mississippi, Alabama, absolutely clean. We do see that there's a lot of fog as you go through the Carolinas, all the way up to Charleston, West Virginia, if you're going to be in that neck of the woods today. And we do see a little bit here just north of Tupelo, Corinth. Right in there, we've got some fog in Mississippi and, well, across that state line into Tennessee, a good bit there as well. But nothing bad for us. The sad part that we'll go ahead and give away is before we get into the forecast here in a few moments, there's no chance of rain as far as we see. This is going to be one dry month, so be prepared for that. Later on this morning at 8 o'clock, at our 8 o'clock show, we're going to have the director, the head of LEMA, the Lauderdale County Emergency Management Team. Odie Barrett will be in with us to talk about burning and things that go on, what causes fires that all these firefighters and emergency officials have to get out and fight. He's going to talk to us this morning, some tips, and he speaks our language. He's everyday language. He's not going to talk above our head, and you'll enjoy it. I hope you'll join us for that. That's coming up this morning. A few things as we start today out that I wanted to bring up. The Gulf Coast Brotherhood, we got this note from the Meridian city of Meridian yesterday, and I said, what in the world is that? It's a bunch of bicyclists that's going to be passing through Meridian today. Now, you can read about this at sammedia.network. Let me pull this up and show you the article. This is what it's about. They'll be stopping by Fire Station number 1 this afternoon, somewhere around 4:30. They're riding, and God bless them, I wouldn't want to be one of them. 425 miles, I believe, on bicycles. It's for a great cause as they honor firefighters who gave their lives in the line of duty to bring awareness to all of this. And they're going to stop in on their way to Monroe, Louisiana on the bicycles this afternoon. So it'll be a big shindig down there, so to speak. That's happening there. They will arrive in Monroe on the 7th. So if you wonder what most likely they'll have a police escort. So if you see that sometime this afternoon after 4 o'clock, headed down 14th or whichever direction they come into town. That's what that's about. Also, y'all be ready. The Meridian Police Department is going to be out and about tonight. We found this out from the city of Meridian yesterday also, as they will join the residents of North Hills Manor. It's a national night out. The police department will be there, as last year they got out and enjoyed themselves with the kids, played games, sack races, and all of this. It's a big community event that they do. Big thank you to the Meridian Police Department, the officers that give their time to go out and help with the kids. So that's happening tonight there. Real proud of them to do that. I hope you can drop in and visit with them. I wanted to bring this up before we get into some of the hard news stories this morning of what's going on across America. This is going to be coming up. Let me see here. Pull up a few of these things that are going on. In PSAs, the traffic advisory is still going on. We wanted to bring this up. The FCA is having their workshop rally, A Night for the King. That's going to be at the FCA worship rally at the Collinsville First Baptist Church. And that's going to be tomorrow night. The doors will open at 5:45. Worship will begin at 6:15, and it will run right up until 8 o'clock. And that's for grades 6 through 12. Dinner is going to be provided. If you can get the kids out, they certainly would enjoy that. Again, that's going to be at the First Baptist Church there in Collinsville. So drop in with that, the FCA, a great thing to be involved in. A lot of folks give a lot of their time to make sure that these events come off without a hitch. Really, really like that. Well, as we begin today, and speaking of this, we'd always, yesterday was our first day to do that, as we add a message. We've got another one this morning as we head to the First Baptist Church of Collinsville. We always need encouraging words. And today, we're going to let Brother Ben talk to us about, well, being blessed.
I've met tons of people over the course of my life, and they all have at least one thing in common. They want to be blessed. Now, whether they recognize God or not, they want to experience happiness, contentment, goodness. Do you want to be blessed? Well, true blessing only comes from God. Jesus tells us in Matthew 5:3 that God blesses the poor in spirit, which means to see yourself as spiritually bankrupt, to recognize your utter and absolute need for God and for Him to make you righteous. It's those who are poor in spirit who will look outside of themselves to Jesus. They're the ones who will be truly blessed. Nothing in my hand I bring, simply to the cross I cling. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. And of course, they'd love to see you on Wednesday night or Sunday morning. Oh, it was a great place there. Brother Ben Simpson bringing us a message this morning as we start today. Well, as we look at headlines of what's gone on around Meridian, we broke yesterday morning that there had been an accident on Highway 45 North. This would be up near Roto-Rooter, right near Simmons Wrecker Service there on Highway 45. And it was a fatal accident. It involved a log truck. As we go back and pull up this story from yesterday of what happened, we take a glance at this, and this is the story of what we had here. It was a log truck traveling northbound. A car came up and hit the rear end of this and went under the 18-wheeler. As you can see here, here's a picture of traffic all backed up. The log truck pulled over with this accident, and it was just, traffic was backed up forever. And a person did lose their life. There was 3 people in the car. The person in the back seat, I understand, lost their life. We pass condolences to the family of that gentleman. We hate to ever even talk about things of that nature, but it happens, and just horrible that happened yesterday. And that would not only be, that would be the first of 2 deaths that we would have in our community yesterday. Late yesterday afternoon, the fire department, Meridian Fire Department, was called out to a fire that had happened. And as it began to unfold, I didn't quite understand. As we spoke later in the day, or later in the evening, rather, is the word that I should properly use there. We spoke to the fire chief as we got into this. A fire happened sometime between in the late afternoon through 6 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Someone would go to check on this person, and they would be found deceased in their home. This was in the block of the 600 block of 39th Court, which is also Highway 45, before you reach the printing company there in Marion, there on the right. The fire broke out. And the reason neighbors didn't see this, the fire started in a room and it never broke out of the home. It, as fires often do, and it does happen, and it's not as common, it put itself out, and they lost their life in this fire. Bad situation there. Again, we pass along condolences to that family as they deal with losing a loved one in a fire. That's never good. There's no easy way to do it. And I'll be the first to tell you, I am not the best at coming up with words during times like that. To what do you say? It's very tough. They're in a lot of pain, so we pass along condolences to them. As we begin this next story, this is becoming an all too common occurrence in Meridian. Yesterday around 4:30 a.m., as you were either still lying in bed thinking about getting up or rolling over or whatever the case was, criminals were hard at work in our neighborhoods. Yep, as we go here to look at this, around 4:30 yesterday morning, as we turn to this would be on 38th Avenue, just off North Hill Street. If you happen to see this BMW anywhere, it was borrowed without the owner's consent. Let's break that down. It was stolen yesterday morning. They've been riding all over the county. Here's the tag number, LAF 7908, or Lincoln Adam Frank 7908. Now, if you happen to see that, call the Meridian Police Department, call the Lauderdale County Sheriff's Department, or Kemper County, wherever it is that you notice the car. Now, what is often common with thieves of what they do, that tag could already be thrown off. But as you'll look at this picture, and we've got it posted where you can go back and look at it, it's silver with black tinted windows there. Something like that, and it's in a suspicious place. Call the police. Let them know about that. We hate to see this. People work so hard for their money, for their things, and people take them in the early morning hours. You know, the keys weren't in it. We hate that. There was another fire reported yesterday afternoon. It was in the kitchen. The Meridian Fire Department arrived and put that out. As we take a look at this would break out in the 2900 block of 13th Street in Meridian. they were able to contain that, save the home. Good job to all that helped out with that yesterday. Also, let's look around here. We got a report of an accident yesterday. This would be out on Valley Road. Everybody knows where that is. You go past the airport, you hang a left across the railroad tracks, and that road will dead into Valley Road. And here's what we had, reports of a car accident, and sure enough it was. As we look at this on Valley Road there, the 4400 block of it, a car got flipped. As you zoom in a little bit closer to see that. Fortunately, they were okay at the end of this, but still bad news there for a car wreck like that. Again, that was yesterday about mid-morning when that happened. Officials were very, very busy yesterday finding all this. We do have good news. It's often good to have something good to share. The Meridian Police Department did recover something. As we told you, I think this was now 5 days ago that somebody else's car was stolen. There it is. This car has been found. It was a white Challenger. And I believe it has been returned to the owner at this point. Meridian Police Department recovered that. It was hidden somewhere near Oakland Heights School. Yeah, the bad guys took the tag and switched it, as they often do. But good job. We're glad that they got the car back. Jennifer Clark, good morning. Good to see you. Miss Deborah Rawson is up. Charlie Wiggins, I see y'all. Good to see y'all up. And Sheila Bounds, how are you today? And if I'm pronouncing this right, I'm going to try that. Renardo Hunter, good morning to you. Glad to see you there. A lot of you. Donna Roseman, so many of you up in Adam today as we begin this. We have a missing pup in our neighborhoods. This is going to be right across the Clark County line. If you've seen this little fella, he's missing from County Road 45514 area. We got a telephone number there if you happen to see him. He's probably wanting to go home at this point, confused of where he is. One of the first things that we posted this morning was a kitty cat also. A pregnant kitty cat at that. That's one of the first things on our page this morning, if you haven't seen it. We've got another missing pup. This is from the Tumsuba area, and I can tell you, I know the owner of this one. This dog is spoiled. They'd love to have him back. If you happen to see her, she's a dash hound, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. She'd love to be gotten back home. And again, that is out in the Tumsuba area there. Let's see what else is going on as we start to look around the state at other news that are happening here. We talk about this often. What's going on is it's still unknown how far, how deep this goes, but we do know now at this point that Mississippi Today is reporting that Brett Favre has hired an attorney. Now, let me again restate this. This doesn't mean that Brett is guilty of anything. It just shows that he's taking this serious of what's going on all around him. While others above him have been brought into this scandal, he has hired Trump's former attorney as this scandal just keeps going. Again, that doesn't mean Brett is guilty of anything. He's returned the $1 million that he was paid. Shad White still wants the money from the investigation, which is $200,000 around in there. This will get bigger and bigger. I think it is out of some of those hands that originally did not want this case to go any further. And that's where we are on that. We'll watch it closely. There is a timeline that we'll go over one day of what all went on with this. And again, Nancy New and her son have got problems with it. There's 3 others that have already been charged. They have not gotten sentenced. This goes all the way to the governor's mansion. We'll see what happens as this develops daily. Mississippi Today has really stayed on top of it. If you live in Hinds County, that area there, and you're watching this morning, and you wanted a pay raise, Public Works are not getting one. They shot that down. So that's bad news for you guys that wanted a raise in that area there. As we look around, there's going to be some changes in the SNAP program. Those that receive SNAP will get a little bit of raise for cost of living. And it looks as though they're easing things as the economy has gotten really, really tough to where people can get assistance if they need that. We'll talk about that this morning. There's a survey out, and y'all tell me, as prices have gone up, have you been through a drive-through lately, a fast food? Those prices have escalated as much also. But the survey says Americans, and you have to do, and I understand this, you have to do what you have to do, but the survey says that Americans are skipping meals and cutting back on the amount that they eat. at the house in order to be able to feed everybody on the budget that they have. The land of plenty. We've got ourselves a mess, and it all leads to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's how everything flows. The next thing that affects every bit of that, and we all know that, is gasoline, oil. We stopped drilling. Lots of talk that prices may be going up on that. Mississippi State Fair is getting ready to kick off in Jackson. Anybody going? I don't know what you're thinking. October 6th is when it will officially get underway. $5, I think, per person to get in. But on top of this, I think they're making a big deal of pointing this out. Everybody that goes in will have to go through a metal detector and be scanned with a wand before you make it into the state fair. There's something to think on. That's coming up this week. If you remember the last event that was held there, didn't turn out so well. I'll leave it at that. Not running the fair down in any way. Just always be aware of where you go and what you do. But they are taking precautions with trying to make sure that no one gets in with anything they shouldn't have. Still, as we talked about this a day or so ago, one of our own here in the state of Mississippi, Philadelphia, Hardy. Has anybody paid attention to this? The bus that he was in, his bus driver, they were all in an accident. And as Hardy, we shared his post from his Facebook where it said it was serious injuries and to please pray for them and the bus driver. We hope they have a speedy recovery and it's not as bad. We don't have many details on this. Not much has come out of this. We hope to get some more information on this in a day or so. But they just need some prayers as they all kind of mend after that. It was four of them on the bus, shaking up pretty bad there. Oxford, Mississippi, Ole Miss country there. 3 men have been arrested. They tried to rob somebody in the parking lot of an apartment complex. They did make it to the car. Police got there just in time and made an arrest. Always good when the good guys show up just at the nick of time. This is major. Did you see this where Ole Miss has moved into the top 10 in football? I think they're ranked number 9 this week. That's good. I also see that coming to Stark Vegas this weekend. Y'all be ready. The SEC Nation is going to be there. That's a big deal when they show up to film and have the show there. That'll be at Stark Vegas this weekend. So if you're headed up there this weekend, expect all of that. Always makes the games a little bit more exciting. It does. Stone County, Mississippi, they're looking for someone who was missing there. She went missing on Friday. We'll try to get a picture of her soon. Selena Glenn Blackwell. She's been missing since September 30th. She was traveling in a black Dodge. They have not seen her since. We'll see if we can't get a picture of that this morning to share for folks to be able to look for that. We go to Tupelo next. They made a big arrest on this. As we often talk about stolen cars and things that have been taken. This car was taken from Pennsylvania. They pulled it over. It was a Mississippi man driving it. Not only did he have a stolen car, but it was packed full of counterfeit money. Those feds don't play about that. There'll be more charges, and you get into federal crimes when you deal with fake dollar bills or $5. I've heard of $10 bills being a real common thing here lately, of fake money. I'll watch all that. Counterfeit money, it is floating everywhere. Good thing they got that off the street. As we look at this, we go to Tupelo for our next story. It happens occasionally, and this is one of those condolence stories. 62-year-old gentleman was fishing with a friend of his. He fell in the water. He was swept away in the current. They were not able to save him. How bad that is there. That happened late Friday. There's now starting to release all the information on that. He was pulled from there and pronounced deceased at the hospital. How sad that is. A good day to go fishing and it turned sour. We hate that. We look around at nationwide stories here. It worries me about colleges, and I think a lot of people see that as a problem of what's going on in what are they teaching the children, as we see a lot of times universities in California or, well, the way they don't think, the teachers don't seem to align with home values, family values, as we go to New York University. And is this going to be a trend? 82 students got up a petition because they felt that the professor style of teaching was too hard. had to study too hard. Guess what happened? He's been fired. I'm not joking. 82 students signed a petition, and they have removed him because, well, they thought his class was too hard. What's going to happen in the real world? Y'all know the real world, and that would be other countries that go up against the United States if we start to, well, loosen what we teach. You can't compete on a global world if you're backing down on the way you teach because you offend somebody. That worries me. Also, I've seen some of the military ads. What are we doing there? Are we changing things? Pray for our country, folks. I think we need that at this point. Chris Como, y'all remember him? Former governor's brother that worked on CNN that they axed. He's trying to whistle a new tune, so to speak, as he joins a new network, News Nation, as he says there's nothing wrong in his first broadcast with the word conservative. Now, as we all know, he didn't feel that way as he was at CNN. He's trying to branch out. No, wait a minute. He's trying to keep a job. That's what he's up to. He's lost a lot of money after he left CNN. You remember the Bush baked beans dog? Y'all remember that? Where he kept the family secret there, the recipe? He was introduced at the Grand Ole Opry this last Saturday night. Why? Bush baked beans are becoming a big sponsor of the Opry, and he was on stage. Cute dog, like that a lot. We'll see if we can get some pictures of that a little bit later on this morning as well. Like that dog. Always fun to watch him. Your forecast is next as we begin this day. I'll put a smile on and, well, let's face it here. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
So what will the weather do today? As we go back to 19, it was 101 on the high side, 87. We had a couple of days of about the same temperature there. 37 was the record low. Now, as we look to today, we're looking at 80, 81 for the Meridian area. Depending upon where you are, it's not but 1 degree difference in most areas there. As we go all the way toward Vegas, Stark Vegas, those areas up there will be around 80. Out to our west, 82 in Vicksburg. To the south, 83 down in Hattiesburg. To the east, we go to Alabama, the western side there. 80 degrees is what we're looking at for there in Livingston all the way to Tuscaloosa. Cooler in Birmingham, about 78. And to the south, it looks to be 80 to 81, kind of a almost identical forecast as it is in Mississippi. As we look to the 6 to 10 day outlook, we're at the normal temperatures for this time of year. Just kind of perfect there. That 80 degree. Is there a chance it could warm up? It could be. And then behind that, a little cool front, then followed by, well, more warming weather. So let's look at our 7-day forecast of what we have. We will hit a high later this week by Friday of 85, and then things will start to cool down again. But today, 81 at the max, 54 tonight. By tomorrow, we'll go up 1 degree to 82 on Wednesday. By Thursday, we're at the high for the week. Thursday and Friday will roll in at 85, 0% chance of rain all week long. But look at these temperatures over the weekend. It could not get better. If you've got something to do outside this weekend, it's perfect. 74, 75, and it's not bad Monday, 79 either. Let's go ahead and jump into another week there. Big thank you to Wilson Saw and Outdoor for bringing us our forecast this morning. As we look all the way toward the 18th, look at that. The biggest chance of rain that we will have will be on the 17th. At only a 20% chance. That's not much at all, is it? But our highs will not get above 83. And that's going to hold us all the way till October the 18th as we scream toward Halloween. That's not that long off, is it? Now, as we look to the tropics, let's pull this up and just see what we've got this morning. We see that off the coast of Africa, there's a 70% chance. This is not much chance of it affecting the United States. We'll watch it, and there's always Mother Nature can change its mind. As we look at our next system here that's going to be headed toward the Caribbean, it looks to be headed toward Central America, South America over here. Honduras, these areas. We'll be on it. We'll see what becomes of it. But no threat to the Gulf at this point. Not expected. It'll go inland and then disappear is what we think. Still days out. I don't want to jump the gun, but that's what everything looks to be. Now, let's talk about fishing. What's going on today? Chet's Paint and Body tells us the perfect time is going to be around 8:30 this morning. You can hang out till about 11 o'clock today. Should be a good fishing day. The second major time will be at 1 a.m. Yeah, don't do that. If you're going after dark, 9 o'clock till 11 o'clock would be your next time. So your best fishing time today is going to be right around 9 a.m. The wind's going to be calm, becoming southeast around 5 miles an hour this afternoon. So that's a quick look at what we've got when it comes to our fishing forecast. We're getting geared up here in just a few moments, an hour and 3 minutes. As we said, we'll have special guests coming in this morning. Lima, get ready. Odie will be here to talk with us about things dealing with what the Lauderdale County Emergency Management Team has been dealing with lately in the community. Helpful hints as well. All that's coming up today. I hope you'll come back and join us. Candace is getting her hair done. She'll be here in just a little while. We can't do any of this without y'all. I do hope y'all will join us and be a part of it there. Becky Vickers, good morning. Laura Lee, you're up. Adam, Joyce Poole, I see. Jennifer Clark there. Sandy White, good to see you up and Adam too. And Joyce Poole, morning. All right, we'll be back in just a little bit as we begin I almost said Thursday, but it's Tuesday, isn't it? Got to get my ducks in a row. It's Tuesday, 55 right now as you're waking up. We'll see you soon here at the Scotty Ray Report. Thank y'all so much.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: